Psalms 127:1 says that except the Lord build the house, they that build it labor in vain. And except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh in vain. And when I was younger and first married, and we had our oldest children were just real small, I started working out of town. And back in those days, well, you didn't have cell phones. When I left to go to work, well, I worked an hour away. There was no contact, no way to get a hold of them, and really completely out of touch. If something happened, I was an hour away. That's if they could get a hold of me to tell me that something had happened. And so I really clung to this verse, and I'd pray for this verse, and I'd pray for God to keep my house safe, and to build my house and to keep my house safe. Because except He builds it, well, then they that build it labor in vain. And except He keep it safe, well, the watchman waketh in vain. And so through the years, I've prayed that for my family. Now, we went to church Sunday, and the pastor had a sermon on this. But he did okay. But they have this thing now, newer preachers, they seem to tell you all about one side. It's like he got the message across that, well, except God builds it, well, then it's not going to stand. And except God keeps you safe, then, your watchman's going to wake in vain. But it's more like, so stop worrying about it. It's just like, okay, God's got this. Just stop worrying about it, and God's going to build it, and God's going to keep it safe. But that's not what it says. It says, except the Lord build the house, except the Lord keep the city. And when you read the Word of God, well, it's not meant to be read in a vacuum. That verse is a very true statement, but God gives us His Word because it tells us how He interacts with us. And when you read about the Old Testament characters, and you see that how God responded to the things they did good or the sins that they committed, well, He's going to react similar to you and I. And so if we want Him to keep us safe and to keep our house safe, well, we want to find favor in His eyes. And so when you read the Word of God, well, it's meant to bring action so that our lives, well, they come in tune and in line with His Word and with His ways. And when He sees that heart that trusts God, that trusts Him, and really wants to please Him and to do what's right, well, then that gives us favor in His eyes. And so I'd really like to see more of a encouragement for Christians to realize it's not just enough to believe, but you have to have faith. And that faith, well, you live your faith out in your actions. And we really do want God to keep our house safe and our family safe. I think about that for the nation. We need people that are righteous so that their prayers avail much, and those prayers for our nation are heard. And I think we're seeing that right now. We need more of that. And so, just something to think about. Take care and God bless.